Are we good to go? Good to go. Excellent. Thanks, Sarah. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you tonight. It's our special meeting of our library board. So welcome again, everybody. Glad you could make it. Sarah, can you do roll call, please?
Of course. Chair Stevens.
Present.
Donna Clark.
Present.
Haley Heason.
Present.
Heather Dale.
Present.
Lauren Davidson.
Present.
Jane Donnelly.
Present.
Councillor Legree.
He sent regrets.
And Chair, we do have quorum.
Excellent. Thank you. As we gather, we would like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Honoring the traditional territories of the Indigenous people is one of the 94 calls to action of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's report. To do this properly, we encourage everyone to learn more about the lands we call home, as we all have a role to play in reconciliation. Okay, is there any conflict of interest this evening? No? Okay, I just want to note that Maggie has been delayed and that she'll be along momentarily. And we're going to go ahead and discuss the capital projects. So Kelly, do you want to run with that for us?
So in view of the council meeting last Friday that talked about trying to reduce sort of our capital projects and only bring forward necessary items for the 2025 year. We had 3 projects we were going to bring forward, so I will kind of put my comments through on each one, and then the board can vote on which ones they would like to proceed through for council request. So the first one is the LED lighting. This is the one originally that was written as, I think, a medium priority. I think it needs to be the one we do this year if we do any. What's happening is the ballasts that are on the old lighting systems right now, you can't buy. So they all have to be custom cut. The only electricians can change it. So every time a light goes out or a ballast breaks, it's a whole issue. The nice thing is this would kind of have an overreaching effect because it would reduce our energy costs, I think, right through the building. And again, reduce the labor costs of having to bring electricians in all the time. There'd be a lot of benefits. So my recommendation would be this would be the project we would ask for approval for this year. The next one is the renovation for the what was the connection center. Librarians, library staff have always been very frugal. So I think we can figure out how to do this with at least start the process with kind of what we have in house, fixing it up. We wouldn't be able to do the full gamut of what we want to do, but I think we can make a really good dent in it and still have a usable space down there and make some big changes. So that one I think we can probably push. And again, all of the, we also constantly look for grants and stuff. So if anything was to pop up, we would try to get some funding for those projects. And then the third one is the accessible shelving. Again, we've been doing a little bit each year, which has worked really well. If, you know, as this is a tight year, we could just push it off another year. It just means, you know, everything kind of, we push it, but that's fine. We were doing that each year to try to save on a huge cost and to slowly make the library more accessible. But my suggestion would be if we're going to push 2 off, it would be the renovation of the program center, connection center room, and the accessible shelving. But I will leave it up for the board to decide.
Can the connection center still be used as is, just not to its full potential?
Correct. We can still do some pretty good changes and use some of our in-house town staff to make some changes that we need to make to start.
And can we apply for grants if they like come to light?
The problem with grants, absolutely. The problem with grants is we've been asked to only apply for grants that are 100% coverage, which is next to impossible to find.
Okay.
But absolutely, if we can find those foundational grants or things like that where they Especially if parts of the project, like I kind of think like more for our makerspace stuff or stuff that's really specific on why we're doing it. Foundational sponsors or grants may be the way to go for those. But
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any thoughts, comments, questions?
Just, I would note that the library, I noticed in the library budget that the electricity costs for the library seem very high.
$9,000.
$9,000 seems like a lot. So it would make sense to go forward with the
Absolutely.
lighting retrofit.
And even with the lighting retrofit, I know it wouldn't be 75% reduction. It's not all electricity in there, but it would be a significant reduction that would cover part of the cost. And then achieve going forward.
And it really doesn't make sense every time you have to change a light bulb to call an electrician. Like,
That seems like a waste of money.
it does seem like a waste.
well,
of
we try to
money.
wait till there's
Yeah,
like
of
a few
course.
out because you've got, which is, I mean, not ideal, but.
Yeah.
But exactly, it's not ideal,
Yeah.
and yeah,
There's
exactly.
a replacement of those valves that
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Yeah, because they're old technology,
Yes.
right? Yeah, and it's just not made anymore. It's different, yeah. And that happens. Yeah. Anybody else? Thoughts, questions?
Well, I just think that since the town is trying to cut costs, that just putting forward one project is probably a good idea. So
Yeah,
that would be the one.
yeah,
definitely.
fiscally wise and financially respectful and
Mhm.
trying to align with the missions and values. Okay. All right, do we pass the motion on this?
I don't think there was one put in the, I'm not sure if there was one put in, but yeah, we do need a motion.
Okay.
We should have put that in motion
Okay,
first.
so does everyone agree before I read the motion, or we creatively?
You'll need to read the motion first, second, and then have.
All right, okay, so can you read it as you typed it, please, Sarah? Okay, so we need a motion that the Renfrew Public Library Board approve the 2025 library capital projects as presented, being the LED light system. Haley, and second, Heather, thank you very much. All in favor? Passed. Great, thanks, everybody. Welcome, Maggie.
Sorry,
No, it's fine, we just,
there's some last minute visitors.
Yeah,
and-
yes, it's okay, we understand.
Busy time.
So this is a copy of the updated, if anybody doesn't have it online, the updated operating.
Okay, can we just take a minute and pass it around? Yes. Great. Yes, please, so let's just pass this around and then I'll make the motion, we can talk about it and, oh, it's three. Okay, there we go. Can I have one too, please, Haley?
Oh, is this?
Yeah, it's 3 pages.
Oh, okay, so I don't really like it.
All right,
Okay.
well, then I'll take it.
And Maggie, thank you for printing it like that. It's great.
Do you want an updated?
Okay. Everybody comfortable and got it? All right, so we need a motion that the Renfrew Public Library Board approve the 2025 library budget as presented. We have some, okay, great, Jane, thank you, and seconded. Heather, thank you very much. Okay. Kelly, Maggie,
Okay, all right,
floor is yours.
all right, let's go line by line here. Let's start with the revenues.
Sorry, I have 3 documents before me. Are we talking about this one that
Yes.
just got us?
Yeah.
That's right. Thank you.
So the revenues, starting with the provincial grants, that doesn't change, that will probably never change, but it's, so that's our same amount every year. The federal grant that you see on the second line, we already received this year, and it is the Seniors Horizons Grant.
Yeah, and we also propose that we will be getting our summer student funding.
Hopefully.
So that's what's included.
Okay. The next one, that is our agreement with Horton. which goes up 2% per year. So you'll see that the original proposed was the 7, but I miscalculated. So it's actually, it should be about 13,809 we'll be receiving this year from Horton.
Do they have to approve it, or is the 2% increase just on that?
It's automatic, it's in our,
It's
we
in the
have an
contract.
agreement with them
Yeah.
until the end of, I just realized I had a wrong number, which makes everything much better.
But it was in the, it was in the contractor,
Yeah.
Agreement.
So we don't have to have them
no,
Nope,
go
No.
through
the end of this
line.
year, so we will be renewing it, it goes till December 31st, 2025.
yeah, it was a multi-year agreement.
I did notice a little boo-boo, so it should have been 4,000, not 400, and the photocopier fees, apologies. It just makes
Easy
it better.
So that's good.
So miscellaneous revenue, so kind of that's any grant. So for example, that was the Canadian Federation University Women's grant we got last year was in there, because we don't have a line that says other grants. So that's where we put other grants. So the chance that we will, you know, we're kind of aiming for $1,000, whether it's a community grant or something this year, we're gonna aim to get at least $1,000, which is why I put it from 100 to 1,000. Memberships. So we are averaging 6,000 a year. So I think to in non-resident memberships.
Renfrew and Horton.
Correct.
Wow, is right.
Yes.
Are these, who are these people? And I'm grateful that they are joining.
Wonderful.
Of
Yeah,
course.
It's Admast and Bromley, it's
$6,000?
Braeside, it's people from Quebec.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yep.
excellent.
And
Yeah.
we do get a lot of those 3-month cottage.
Yeah.
memberships and things,
So seasonal as well.
Yeah, so it's actually gone
Excellent.
up. If you look, like 2023 was 6,041, and actually last year was 6,291. So it's doing really well. So at first we had put in 5,000 the way we always have, and I'm like, no, I think we can safely, after seeing the average, up that to 6. Other fees and charges, we're just leaving kind of that because we're never quite sure what's going to come, what that's going to end up being. So there's confusion. So I am going to talk to the treasurer about sort of renaming some of our lines. So just for clarification for the board, book fines, we don't charge book fines. So these are fines like if someone has a damaged DVD case, we could charge them $2, or, you know, they're those little kind of one-offs, which is why we did not put a lot in there. And then you'll see there's some other changes a little further down too that we might have to look at. So facility rentals, this is our big drop this year, obviously, because last year we had the Connection Center lease. But that being said, Maggie and I talked today and we really feel like we can fix up that space enough and move stuff around just with kind of the help we have within the town, to at least make it rentable during the day while they're staffed. So
Excellent.
we are going to aim for $2,000 this year to try to get people renting that space. And
Who would rent, like, is it a room like this size, like, what are they renting?
Yeah,
Not a
it's-
birthday party.
It could.
yeah,
be.
you could,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, it's a really nice space. And there's going to be a very large TV like that up on the wall. There's really nice seating. There's, folding tables. There's a lot of opportunities. There's a washroom there. There's a kitchen in there if they need to.
Nice big windows.
Yes, beautiful windows.
Nice
so
and bright. You should go
Possible
take a
good
peek.
space for Girl Guides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
this is the
Scouts,
front
things.
where the Connection
Yeah.
Center
It's the
was,
front
not
area.
Yes.
the front area.
So
and it's
it's-
quite large.
It's probably this size, maybe a little bit shorter, but it is this size.
Yeah.
So like I
But
personally
goes
just
back
call
into the kitchen, so kind of
They
L
can use,
shaped.
they can use the
They could use the
washroom
kitchen, but the
and
back part
kitchen.
will be the staff part.
Yeah.
But anyways, yes.
But
So
yeah.
I'm trying to-
it's definitely a great space. I mean, it's just as good a space as our program room was. So that's the idea, is to try to get that space rentable, and we really think we can do that. So
It'd be nice if it could be income generating.
that's our aim is.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah.
Like
So-
in 2000, that's less than 200 a month.
Yeah.
So even if someone just wanted to have a regular meeting, because right now we charge for our program room, but if that wasn't accessible for them to rent that space for meetings that they're charging people to attend, like tutors or things like that, I think 200, less than 200 a month is reasonable.
Yeah.
And even if you market it, like a lot of people ask, like, where can I rent the space for a birthday party?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The rec center.
Yeah.
Huge open space.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If they don't want to run away, or run away isn't.
Or if they want to show a
acceptable.
meeting show a movie and do crafts, and it'll be
Yeah.
the other thing that comes with the space. And we will, if probably not the next one, we maybe the one after, we can do a tour of that space once we've had a chance to get in clean up a bit.
Yeah.
But like, we got all folding tables that literally fold up flat and then come out, and we got all the chairs, and so there's a lot of stuff we can do with that space, so.
And it would just mean advertising it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Great.
So then the next thing is book sales. So this is another thing that is a little bit misleading. It's not book sales. This is actually if somebody loses a book or destroys a book and they pay for it.
I thought that was.
No,
No.
that's what goes in book sales. And I don't like book sales because it makes it sound like it's our book sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, these are all set up by, it's the FIR, like they're set up, so. But I'm gonna talk to the treasurer about maybe see what we can do. Anyhow, so that line is just people who lose books, and I put it at 500. You're kind of betting against your people at that point, which is not the greatest thing to do, but we'll see what happens.
More school visits, we could help you out.
Donations and bequests. So we're not sure why why that's all zeros. The only thing I can think of is that when there's money left at the end of the year, it goes into our deferred revenue. And we pull it out at certain times when we're using it. I'm assuming that's why it's showing zero, because we definitely, yeah. Yeah, that's in the deferred revenue. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's what happens is it goes out of that account at the end of the year. But we do know that on average, we can bring in $2,000. We generally bring in more, but we thought that was a pretty safe number to put in there. And then fundraising and sponsorship is where the book sale money goes.
Got it.
So because it is one of our fundraising things, so that is where that goes, and that's where it should go. It's just that book sales line needs to change. So I think even if it all went under book fines, I would feel better with that and just get rid of that.
Yeah.
Yes, and just get rid of that book sale line, but I will talk to the treasurer and let everybody know. So originally we had projected in the original budget we sent out, we thought we could pretty safely say we can bring in about 62,129. After reviewing everything again, looking at what we've brought in over the years, we have upped that to 68,229 that we're pretty confident we can hit that. Any issues with revenue?
68?
That's with the 3,600.
400 should be 4,000.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yes, so
Thank
it's a
you.
better number, which is
Thank you.
great.
So it's 60, what is it? I just want to,
68,229.
thank you. I just want to update my sheet.
Yes.
Perfect.
That
Thank
was
you.
You're missing a zero.
Thank you.
It's a happy narrative.
A happy, yes,
At
a
least it was
happy
that way,
accident.
not like
Yeah,
too
the other
many
way.
zeros,
Then
yeah.
that makes sense.
Okay,
Okay.
expenditures. We have basically kept our operating at the same as last year. So I want to say that right from the start. The biggest increases over last year was the fact that the QP contract was negotiated for the library and we had a 4% increase. So the up numbers for this year is based on the QP contract. So nothing changed. We haven't changed any staffing. We haven't added staff. We haven't done anything. That is the exact same staff as last year with the QP contract increases.
How is it lower?
Yeah, so this was the actual, because I believe the creation of my position as opposed to what was budgeted for 2024.
Correct.
So like our budget increase is only because of the 4%.
Yeah, so I think part of it too was,
That makes no sense. to me.
I
okay,
know.
just so,
It's still less.
Yeah.
but I think part of it was, there's a certain percentage of my salary that's allocated to the library.
Yeah.
Last year, there is no way I can't remember what the percentage allocated, but there's no way I was giving that much percentage to the library. So they reduced the cost of my salary that was going to the library.
Because that was going to be my question, and
Yeah.
I don't mean any offense to that,
No,
but I
no.
remember the solution for the division was
Yes,
1,000 hours library, whatever is over 1,000
correct.
hours.
So we
Town.
reduced that.
And
So my salary reduced from that line.
Okay.
And when they asked me for this year, I can't remember the percentage that I gave. Was it 30? Yeah. So, anyways, it's really hard to do percentages of how much of my time I give to everybody, but I think that's what they went in for this year. So that's why there's the
That's
reduction
good.
there. Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yes.
So how many people is this?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full-times.
That's
And then-
included,
That's me included. There are 2 part-times.
Or like half-time, so they
Well,
have a person?
one's part-time, the
No.
other's a casual.
casual.
And then we do have 3 students and then our summer student included in this budget.
So 5 full-times, 2
Part-times, 3 students and a summer student.
and 30% of that.
So the big change for us this year was we went from the old GL numbers, which you can see that we always had, to the new GL numbers. So all departments this year, it was a bit of a challenge. Trying to figure out what numbers were where before, and where they are now, and where they're living and where they moved to. We think we got it straightened out, but it's still sort of in process here.
Jane loves this.
Jane gets this.
I
This is
know,
her
well
forte.
said. Yes.
Okay, so.
Do they all
Uh,
stay the same, I'm assuming?
pardon?
No, of course
They
not.
didn't.
Sorry, Jane.
The names, they didn't. stay
No,
the same.
nothing stayed the same. So the first one is the materials and operating supplies, now includes computers. So we upped that slightly, just because some of our computers, we've already had to replace one this year, and I think we've already spent. There it is.
And what is the lifespan of a computer these days?
Not long.
I know, but
No, they should be rotating
Like
every 3 to
3?
4 years.
see,
yeah.
that's what I thought.
And that's pushed, like, yeah. Oh, they're not the same, so I can't tell.
And these are like desktop computers or are they laptops?
Yeah.
We have one staff member with a laptop and everyone else uses a desktop.
Desktop. And
So
then
we-
when we're replacing computers, sorry,
No, it's okay.
if we're replacing the entirety, not just like modularly replacing.
Oh, no, we're good. If the screens and everything is good. we can-
I mean,
yeah.
so.
Not
uh,
everyone at once.
Inside, no, some of like the inside components of the computer themselves, so like
No, it's
the whole tower.
It's the whole tower.
the
yeah.
whole tower.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, because that might be something to look at for cost savings.
They're like the little small.
We have the thin clients.
So my husband works in IT, so
Yep.
this is where my background is. So we can like replacing things like your solid state drive, which is like the life of your computer, right? And that really expands it because all the desktops in our home we've had for over 10 years, and it's just a matter of replacing smaller components instead of replacing entire pieces.
Okay,
Okay,
So that might be something to investigate.
yeah.
yeah,
Happy to help navigate that with you. But that might
Perfect.
help with some cost savings.
great.
Because we also have to replace the patron computers.
Yes.
Like those come up often.
What we tend to do when we get a new one, we take ours and we put it at the catalog. So it's always the oldest ones go out the door, like we had some that were no longer supported.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we replace staff, we take that computer, put it over to the patrons
Yep.
and, yeah. Okay, so that's good. We keep that in mind. So
Yeah,
that's what's in there.
Thanks, Haley.
No problem. Office supplies, there we go. And then I move my mouse. Office supplies contains, programming supplies as well, last year, so that's why it was so high. We have kind of split that out this year, which is why we've reduced it and why it was higher last year. Because all of our program supplies were in there as well, whereas usually craft stuff or like all that kind of they use to run programs. So we have reduced that back down to 5, just because that won't have. So the next line, the postage and shipping, we did not go over because we get reimbursed that amount. It's just that you always see that up in revenues rather than here. So that's why I left that at 500, because we actually get majority of that money back from Ontario Library Service.
Okay, that was my question. Who do we get it back from?
Interlibrary.
Yeah, as far as.
Correct.
Okay.
The advertising, so you're gonna see it go up. That is because we now pay a percentage of the program guides. So we pay approximately $1,300 a year for the printing of the program guides. We share that with Recreation. And I think they've been very good for our numbers, but we do have to share in the printing costs. So that is why we have put that up to 2,000 this year.
And we did reduce the number of prints.
Yes.
But it's still, like, they're all gone.
Yeah,
And we still have to get through this month and May. So we will just print on the 11 by 17 and fold them for people, because people take them, they look at them once and then they'll throw them out and they're expensive.
Mhm.
So we are keeping that in mind when we print them.
Do we keep like a laminated copy, maybe?
Well, I have the file, like we have the
I
original.
mean, like at the library, having like a laminated copy that's
people
available and
can
just
look
leave
at
it and say like this stays in the library, have a little
That's a good
sticker on it,
idea.
maybe?
Yeah. we
Yeah.
could do
Yeah.
that.
People might,
At both desks.
and people might screenshot it if they know they
Yeah.
can just run in
Yeah.
and take a look.
Even just putting a QR code and stuff.
Oh,
For
there's
sure.
another, that's a good thought.
Mhm.
Yeah, just to help
Perfect.
reduce that.
Yeah,
I
good
know that's an
point.
annoying cost for that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Good point.
So memberships, we're kind of keeping that same. They're usually the same ones. They have like, we have Ontario Library Association, we have an HR thing, group we belong to, just a bunch of little things like that.
Okay, did we skip one?
We skip.
We skip
Oh,
mileage.
Interest, service and mileage. We skipped two.
Oh, so the interest, we don't really have, I mean, it's just whatever money happens to be in our bank account. So I put it at 600 because it kind of has averaged around that in the actuals. But we don't really know. I mean, depends how quickly I can get the money transferred from our library account to the town account.
Okay.
So sometimes we make more, but if I'm on the ball and actually doing like regular transfers, then we have less. So that's why we really can't, that's a hard number to put in there.
Yep.
Maggie and I sat down, figured out mileage. So we think last year what happened, I think there was some mileage was being put into professional development, some that should have been put into professional development was put into mileage, so we're gonna keep a closer eye on it this year. But we just figured out based on the professional development that's been allocated and stuff for this year, $1,000 should cover it.
So it was just a general ledger line that it was split between?
Well, that's what we're
Yeah,
thinking, we're not,
okay.
yeah, we have to pull all that out to see, but we're, yeah. We talked about the memberships, okay, this one hurts. At first, we were gonna go for the same as we went last year for books. Knowing it's a lean year and tariffs are already, they're gonna hurt us on the
Mhm.
books.
Mhm.
But the suggestion is that we reduce it to 22,000. It's less books, like I said, it's not great, but there has to be reduction somewhere, so. That's what we're suggesting for this year. Ebooks, the 2,400 is, we already got the quote for overdrive for this year, so that'll cover our fee. It's going up slightly from last year. We are also reducing our AV. We have seen our DVD numbers come down. That being said, our games, video games and stuff are going up. So we definitely don't want to get rid of it. We're just gonna look at where we allocate that money a little bit more. So program supplies, this is where we talked about before. So we have split out now. So when the programmers need stuff, it comes out of this line now. So it still ends up being less than the 8,000. We were putting in 2,000, and we have talked to our programmers about being super careful. They've already put out posts asking for donations of craft materials and all that kind of stuff. So frugal.
So programmers you're talking about the
Let's
people
talk
that
about
prepare
science.
different programming?
Yes, our children's librarian and our
Right.
adult programmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Supplies and equipment, we dropped it this year, we dropped it 3,000. Again, less this year. Not saying we won't need it, it just means that we hang on to what we got till next year. Oops. Hydro don't have a lot of say unless we, things start to drop, but at this point, we're basing it on last year, so hopefully we won't go over that, but we're
So
looking,
if we can get the lighting, that could.
that could reduce
So
it.
that capital project
Yeah.
would impact that over time.
We also had 2 months without the air system working, so maybe. the
Yeah.
bills would be a little bit
Yeah.
less
A little
this year.
lower.
Forgot about that.
The water, we lowered it a bit. Telephone, looks like we can get away with 1,300 this year, so we reduced that. Originally, I had put in 15. I'm like, we can get away with 13.
Who do we use as a phone provider? Like Bell or?
It's the town's, it's Minitel and,
I think it is Bell.
is it Bell?
If our dollar cell phones are through Bell, I think it is Bell.
Okay,
Just curious.
anyway, yeah, it's the town. We get a really
Yeah.
good deal under the town system. They include us. Insurance, again, not much choice in that, is what it is. Hopefully it doesn't go up. There's, yeah. licenses, we looked at what was spent last year. Again, it used to be that we would put software licenses into that line, which is why it was higher in previous years. Now we're putting all that under online resources. So we can lower licenses down.
So what would these licenses be then, Kelly?
Um,
Sorry, Jane.
I was just trying to figure out where online
Copyright.
resources was.
Yes, copyright and, I can pull the GL and get back to you. I don't know offhand. That's the one, yeah. that's
So like
over-
copyright, is that what you just said?
We have
Sorry,
to pay
I'm looking at
every year.
we're looking at licenses right here
Yeah,
under
yeah,
insurance.
so I was just wondering.
Can I just interject for a second?
Mhm.
Can we just go back? Jane, can you say that again?
Well, I was just wondering, you said that it was lower because you had moved it to
Online.
online resources, so what line?
So what line is online resources?
Yeah, so what line is that?
So would that be ebooks?
Are we talking like?
Or
Hoopla
software
and
support
Canopy?
or?
I think it's software support,
Yeah, sorry, software
Okay.
support now, yeah.
Okay.
and that is a.
Oh, there it is. It's down a couple more
Yeah,
lines.
yeah.
Okay. All right, that makes, thank you.
Because
Thank
ebooks
you.
is
Thank
just
you.
overdrive.
Yes.
Okay, we good?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
thank you.
licenses is good.
Yeah,
Yeah, licenses is good.
Yeah.
All right.
it is hard because like
All the
Kelly,
names changed.
all the names change and
Yeah.
Kelly didn't
Yeah.
have input into the name
That's
change.
No,
okay.
just
That's
based
all
on the
good.
FIR
Yeah.
system that they use, yeah. Okay, so the special events fees, are just if we want to bring in somebody, usually summer camp will bring in at least one visitor, one special event, like in the past, we brought in, the ones that did the catapult and reptiles or whatever.
Yeah.
So we reduced that to 1,000, but again, we can also look for people to sponsor if we want to do a special event for camper.
Would our author, when we had our author, would that been included in that? Like, did
Anything we
that,
would have had to pay for.
if we
yeah.
had to pay for the author visit?
Yeah.
Okay,
Like, who was our author?
Ian.
Ian Hamilton.
Ian
That
Hamilton.
Came out of our special events.
Yeah.
right.
The
Yeah.
old, yeah,
The
it
old
used to be called special events and programs.
Yeah, so he would have been included in that. Okay,
Yeah.
Came out of there, yeah.
thank you.
Professional development, so we already spent 5,000 this year, or we've already got allocated 5,000 for professional development, so we are gonna put in 6, we won't do 8, but,
What was the fee that's gonna be the nominee?
so Maggie's Apple course, I'm doing, municipal management. We're sending 3 staff to the, Rural Roots Conference.
Yeah,
First aid, for, I forget how many of the staff, like, we went through all of the training, yeah. Okay, software support, so that is all of our online, which I'm gonna have to get used to that terminology.
Mhm.
That is all of our online licensing and everything we use from like Zoom to our e-resources, all that kind of stuff. So we think based on last year's numbers, and if we don't change anything, we can get away with 15. Unless we get increases, but we're hoping not. We think we can get away with 15 this year.
So when you bring this to be presented, are you going with like, so I have here 17, so are you gonna go with that number?
that
when
was
you get
what was
presented?
originally given.
Okay,
No, I'm gonna go, so the hope is that you guys will pass the updated
Got it. Okay.
2025. But I have a plan, but I'll talk about that.
Is that seeing it updated?
I was printed from this morning's
Okay,
copy,
so no.
but I'm writing things down.
Okay, so it looks like this.
Yeah, there's no.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
this one, yeah.
Okay, so the internet again, we do get a chunk of it back from the Ontario Library Service. They pay our monthly internet fee, but the rest of that fee is for our hotspot. So that's why it's staying at 6,500, even though I think it might be slightly less than that, because I forget how much, I would have to check out how much the Ontario Library Service pays us back. So they basically look at what we pay per month to Cogeco, and then they reimburse us that monthly fee.
Are they still as popular as ever, the hotspots?
Yes. Yeah.
Thought so.
Are they needing to replace?
We just,
We did.
We just did, yeah.
and that was at no cost.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So contracted services is just like our rugs and, I have to pull the GL, which I meant to do before this, but. there's
What do you
a couple
mean,
other things in
our
there.
rugs?
So in the winter, we have rug service, so.
Okay,
people
that's
come in and They
okay.
bring rugs at the entrances.
So
and
you haven't
stuff.
ordered from Wayfair?
No.
I wish, they have some really nice
Yeah.
designs.
Okay, so cleaning services or whatever to keep, okay.
You can ignore the equipment maintenance, it's not used. The next line is building repairs and maintenance. I'm grudgingly putting it to 14, because this year, I mean, we need to get our windows washed, we need to get our rugs done. It does not take long for that amount of money to go in that building, but we'll make do. And then the final one is our photocopier rental and stuff, so. End of the day, total library, we're looking at, if we go with the ones that Maggie and I are suggesting, the updated 2025, we're looking at total expenditures of $696,642.80. So from the 2024 budget request, it's a 4% increase over the ask from 2024. Again, majority of that is a 4% increase. That was the QP increase. So we are trying, we have lowered some areas and tried to keep it within what we spent last year. Any further cuts will directly impact staffing and service hours. So that's what we're proposing, and I will leave it to the board to.
So when we're talking about staffing, like how many people are staffed in the library at a time?
So,
Go ahead.
So currently we staff the adult circulation desk and the children's circulation desk. There's always two. And there has to be, per our QP contract. There has to be 2 people in the building at all times. And then, but we do have, because we have a children's program, or a children's librarian, who's the programmer and the adult programmer, who are in the building at the same time, but they're doing programming work, so they're not on the desk. And I am also there. So there could be a day where there's 5 of us in the building, but there's only two people on the desk.
And I would say the upstairs is insane. You cannot have one person work that upstairs desk during the day. It is just nonstop.
You can
Like there's even days you could have 3 up there and all 3 people would be serving patrons.
You
So,
just can't respond to technology requests
No.
while you're working the desk. It just doesn't work.
no, it's just too much.
We're looking at if they do not approve this and this is need to cut.
So we're cutting our open hours.
So it would be if it's one of those days where, because everyone's allocated their vacation, we can't say
No.
no.
Yeah.
If we don't have someone who can work that day, it will have to close. Or
The other option is we cut, I don't even want to say, I think we would have to look at scenarios, but I don't see, I mean, or we cut our programs, or we cut the services we provide, or we cut like.
Kelly, does that decision, is that a decision we could think about and talk about at another meeting? Like,
I would think it depends on what council comes back.
yeah, so that's kind of where I'm going with this. So
Yeah.
those sorts of things, we don't have to decide tonight. We could think about them on our own and then talk about them at subsequent meeting. Again, after, you know,
On the 24th, like I think once.
that
council
would be a
sees
good
the
thing to
budget.
have on our agenda, to think about that. But it's good for us to have on our mind anyway.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
And the hope is that that's not gonna be something.
Well, hopefully, yes, I mean, the
Yeah.
hope is we don't have to go
Yes.
there at all,
Yes.
but I just wanted to know if that was something we could leave for now.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's prudent to say it.
No,
yeah.
exactly.
No, all I'm saying is that if this number is not accepted by council, we are at bare bones for our operating. That's kind of where we're going.
Okay,
Okay, so I have one question about the statement. I just did a little add here and it doesn't add up. I don't know if there's something missing in,
Which part, Judy?
okay, so you said it's, the revenue should be 68,229.
Yep.
And the total expenditures are 696,643. So that actually adds up to a deficit of 628,414, which is less than the 634. So somewhere either there's something not adding right, or
Look at my phone. Okay, so which number are you saying is off?
the bottom line. I'm
Oh, the
saying it-
634, 513?
I'm saying it should be 628,414.
Oh,
and
even better. So
Everything
That
else
was
is,
the 4,000.
That's just
So, right.
that was the 4,000.
No,
I
but
didn't have a
even
formula
with-
set up in that line.
That's another two
but
thousand
it's
you're
another,
taking off.
yeah, there's another, it doesn't,
by
yeah, there's more than
2,000,
that, so. Somewhere either, maybe you should just double check your ads to make sure everything's in there.
Do you need a minute?
So it's 513.80, would that be 113.80? Are we off by 1,000? We off by 100? I could put up the same thing. It was 628, 413.
I think before the 3,600 added back on, that bottom line should have been 632,014, so there's some kind of a discrepancy there. What it is. So hopefully that's the right number, and there's not just something not added in here.
Is there an algorithm attached to this spreadsheet so that it should automatically calculate?
Yeah.
I just
We're
checked
just
and it looks good, so I'm just trying to do it one at a time now.
Okay.
So I'm getting 696,642. Should be 6,229. So we should have 28,413.80. And then this was that comes in at 3%. If that was.
So what is
the
it, so what's the numbers difference?
So this right here, it shouldn't be 634, it should be 628,413.80.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
So then,
Because once we change that 4,000, it upped that number to 628, 413.80.
yeah,
Yeah,
So then the difference between the 2024 approved budget was 611. It's this one minus that one, so it came to this, which is actually a 3% increase as opposed to a 4% increase.
Oh, okay.
If that's the difference.
Okay, so that
Sounds
was
better.
Sounds
I
better,
know, you're
yeah.
right. I'm just like, I'll roll it in
I'd
there.
even go 2.75.
so that, oh, okay, so that was the discrepancy.
So
Oh, okay,
it's the
okay, sorry.
difference of a
Gotcha.
4% increase to a
Perfect.
2.75 increase.
Perfect.
Sounds better.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Just the increase isn't as much as we thought.
I have no idea. I thought these were just being added. So that's why they don't add, is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
What doesn't add though? I don't understand.
Well, the 668,229 minus 696,642 does not add to 634. It adds to 628,414.
Oh, yes, that's because we changed that 4,000.
Yeah, but it
That's-
was more that there was another 2,000 on top of that. Even when I added that in, it didn't. The
Oh.
original one didn't add.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay, I think we're okay now, but
but so if it is 628,414, that's a good thing.
yeah, it
If
is.
that's the right number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause that's less.
I think that-
So are we still pondering and adding? Yep,
No, we're all good.
Nope,
We're all good.
Okay.
It's a 2.75% increase.
2.75?
Mhm.
So approximately 3.
No,
2.75.
Sorry. Got it.
We're
Got it.
under the 3.
Okay, we're under the 3. Okay. When I was
Every
doing,
penny counts.
every penny does count, absolutely. And when I was playing with the numbers on the first one,
Mhm.
I noticed I grouped salaries and that separate from rest. So the other one the rest of it I called operating costs.
Mhm.
So before we did this little jiggle in numbers, came up with salaries being 63%, approximately 63% of our overall budget.
Yeah.
And operating costs are approximately 37% of our overall costs,
Mhm.
budget-wise. So with this change, it didn't change a whole lot. Salaries just, when I redid the numbers just now quickly, it's 64%. So
Yeah.
still, the bulk of our budget goes to
Salaries.
Oh,
salaries.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right?
Public service.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I don't want to interrupt conversations. So is there anything else anybody wants to talk about or ask questions about or?
I think we can approve this budget for presentation to
Yeah.
council.
Yeah. Okay, so for logistics, we need to do something about the new one. So we have to add it into our agenda somehow, Sarah, that we discussed this second one that you provided. And this was lovely, by the way, Maggie, to see it all spread out like this. and printed- Oh, there you go, the two of you together, put your heads together. That was really nice. So thank you. So Sarah, could you read what we need this motion to read, please?
So from a procedural standpoint, I'd recommend that you do a motion to amend the one that you had opened up with, since the numbers that were presented are different than what was on your original agenda.
Okay,
So if we could do a mover and seconder and vote on an amendment, and then we'll go back and do it as amended. So I have here that the original motion that the Renfrew Public Library Board approved the 2025 library budget as presented be amended to that the Renfrew Public Library Board accept the updated, presented, and discussed budget.
okay, can we have someone move that? Haley, seconded. Donna, thank you, and all in favor? Okay, so anybody else have any comments or we're good, right? All right, now we go to the amended one. All right, so we need to make a motion. Sarah just getting this down. All right,
So it'll just be the second part here. Give me that few seconds before I update it.
okay. All right, so we need a motion to be amended to.
They just need to vote on it.
Oh, we just need to vote on it. Sorry, everybody. Okay, we need to vote that the Renfrew Public Library Board accept the updated, presented, and discussed budget.
So is this what we're presenting, or are we just accepting that we agree with this is what Kelly making percent.
No, this is what
We're agreeing that they will then present this to council.
Yes,
I'm following.
yes. Everybody clear on that?
Yes.
So are we voting or are we
Yeah,
motioning?
You've already motioned it. and you see it's
So
just
all in
voting on the
favor?
final.
Okay, so all in favor of Kelly presenting this to the town as we, all in favor? Okay, carried.
Aye, aye, aye.
I don't
you.
follow either, Tracy. just
Oh,
so
thank
know.
you,
I could-
Lauren.
I don't, yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
the procedures are just a little interesting, as long as we get it right in the end, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Glad Sarah's here.
Yeah, thank goodness for Sarah. Yeah.
Track
All
of
right,
it.
so, all right, so here we go. So our next board meeting will be on the 24th at 5 p.m. So thank you for everyone for changing that. And we don't have any other upcoming items, I don't believe.
Before you
I have your hand up.
We have to make a motion because it's not a regular. Thank you, Sarah.
Just a
Oh,
minute.
and Kelly has something to back up. All right, are there any upcoming items for our
So
next
I
board
would
meeting?
encourage anyone who wishes to attend the council meeting on April 22nd when this is being presented. And we can, we will look at grouping and putting that stuff together and putting the presentation together, which will also include information from our annual report and hopefully the Volt to bring forward to that meeting so that we can really focus on our usage as well for the council. So
Yeah, and that's our opportunity.
April 26th, oh, yeah,
It's a night.
Yes.
So,
5:30.
5:30.
It's almost done. I just have a few more numbers.
Perfect. Is there anything else that you guys need support from us for this budget? Or
The public
presentation?
consultation is tomorrow. I don't know. if
The
that-
ours isn't included.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you're welcome to go and say that the library is great.
Noted.
Anybody can show that the library is great, but at this point, they have not, yeah, we don't have a number.
But
that they have.
supporting your attendance when it's being presented, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But if
always.
anybody wants to go to tomorrow and support that the Mill Museum not be
Yes.
closed or sold, that would be a good thing.
I didn't realize it
That's tomorrow.
was also, I thought it was proposed to be closed, not sold.
It was proposed
If
to
there's
be temporary closed, but then that shifted to a full closure, from my understanding. From what I
But Jane
heard.
is adding sold.
Well, that's what the message from the library board or from the board president sent out an email saying that she understood that there was an underlying shift, that the proposal is that it would eventually be sold.
Okay, so,
So
Maybe we could,
so
Close
we're,
this, close the meeting.
so at the so at the moment, we're talking just about upcoming items for the next board meeting. And I don't believe we have any. Do we?
To add.
To add.
Not as a result.
No.
I don't
No,
think
not
so.
as a result of this meeting. Yes, thank you very much, Kelly. Okay, so we need to move at the next.
Because it's not the original date. that had been
Okay.
proposed on the
Okay, thank you. So we need to move that the next meeting of the Renfrew Public Library Board be held on April 24th at 5 p.m. as it is not our regularly scheduled meeting. So can someone move that, please? Heather, Haley, thank you. And all in favor? Thank you very much. All right, and our meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Yes,
and I-
thank you,
sorry, I didn't
everybody.